A good Erev Shabbos, good afternoon. It's been a couple of days, but this is my favorite portion, as I told you earlier in the week. The story of Abraham, the first Jew who charts new territory and stands up to change the world in the most remarkable way, sharing monotheism and optimism and morals and ethics with the world gone mad. And Abraham's called in this week's Torah portion Avram HaIvri, the Hebrew. And the word Ivri comes from the word Aver, from the other side. Abraham was ready to stand up against everyone for what's right, for what's true. And that's what he inherited to us. And it's towards the end of the portion where Abraham turns to God and he says, God, you gave me everything, success, wealth, fame. But what does it help? I don't have any children. Who's going to continue this legacy? Abraham said the most powerful thing that he has given in the DNA and the kishkas of every Jew. It's not enough to accomplish, to have wealth, to have success, to have fame. We need to have continuity, midor ledor. How do we continue sharing and impacting the light, the legacy with the world? And that's what Abraham turned to God, and Abraham said, it doesn't help me without a child. And God tells him, God takes Abraham outside and he says, look at the stars. And we all know how many sextillions of stars there is in the universe, more than we could ever count. And God says, if you could count the stars, so too will your children be. And the question is, firstly, what does it mean if you could count it? And secondly, what does it mean when God says to Abraham, so will your children be? There's 15 million Jews at best in the world. There's many billions times more of stars. So what does it mean? And the famous master of Lublin says something very powerful. He says, you see, God took Abraham out and he says, could you count the stars? And what does Abraham start doing? Abraham starts trying to count it, but it's impossible to count the stars. Could a human do it? But Abraham doesn't take the impossible as a no. As the famous saying goes, the possible we do right away, and the impossible takes a little longer. There is no word in Hebrew for impossible. Because what Abraham taught us when he went out to count the stars was that there's no such a thing as impossible. And we never take no for an answer. Always trying to accomplish more. And therefore Abraham goes outside and he looks and God says, so too will your children be. Just as you never give up and try to accomplish the impossible, so too will your children be. How powerful, how true through the history of the Jewish people, from generation to generation, never giving up against all odds, against all obstacles. No one can understand how the Jewish people are still here, thousands of years later, through the persecution, through the pogroms. You look at what's going on in the world today, from the right to the left, the reeking anti-Semitism. And you wonder, but we as Jews know, we take a page out of Abraham's book, we have it in our DNA, and we never give up. You know, we keep on hearing these remarkable stories of these hostages. Everyone remembers the video that Hamas gave out of Avi Natan, who came out just now in captivity, watching him in a tunnel where he couldn't even stand, and he's digging. And he says in the video, Hamas told me that I should dig my own grave. He looked emaciated, and the doctor said then that he doesn't even have, according to the way he looks, he has very little time left to live. Now when he came out and he was speaking, he said that while he was digging that grave, he never gave up. Even while he dug, he did what Hamas told him, that he has to dig it. And he said what they told him, that he's digging his own grave. But in his kishkis, he knew that he's going to get out. He had the faith, he had the hope. The story of the Jewish people, we never give up. And that's what Hashem says to Avram. Not in physical numbers, like the stars, but the fact that you never give up and try to do that which is impossible, so too will your children be. Have a good Shabbos. Let us be strong against all odds, against all obstacles. Have faith in Hashem Echad, the one God, because ultimately, we will overcome. God bless you. Shabbat.